Thank you, thank you. How you guys doing today? Like tonight, because it's a bit dark. Okay, so it's a bit weird when you're going to another place. You don't know if you should wear shorts, if it's formal, if you should wear slippers. So, if I'm underdressed, please excuse me. If I'm overdressed, take pictures. um, but with that being said, oh, there's my screens there. Okay, cool. I just want to give a little bit of background, of myself and just the impact that music has had for me in my personal capacity. I started really making music like almost 23. Professionally, I started really making music in 2003. Collaborated with multiple people. I'm from a group called Squatter Camp, and within those 20 years, everything that I have built literally has been because of music. Every idea that I've had has literally because I've always been trying to create solutions for music. And all the time I get into music conversations, we are always addressing, in my view, we are always addressing things that were being addressed 20 years ago. We're always addressing things that have been addressed 30 years ago. Some stuff is theory. You need to learn this stuff. It's because you've got talent and it came and it's innate, but there's theory that you have to learn in music. But I think the biggest challenge that makes us not be able to access or maybe even consume this theory is that the music business is not sold to us as a business. It's sold to us with the excitement, right? So what I want to show you guys, I just want to show you a bit of my journey, and then when I kind of start sharing what I believe is the future of music and systems, at least you have some type of context and you understand what I've experienced, because I have experienced this in multiple ways. So going into the screen, you see, I used to be a rap dude. That's me. I'm on TV. I'm a presenter. I've got a whole book. So because of music, literally, I was able to move from one thing to the other. So I literally became, this is a recent picture, but like in my early stages, literally I was a presenter. But even today, I consider myself almost like a retired artist, but I still find myself still working in the industry. I recently dropped a book like 10 years ago. Shoot, I like number 10. I recently dropped a book like 4 or 5 months ago, which is called, I never liked the title, so let me just read it. That's why I don't remember it. It's called The Life Story of a Hip-Hop Pioneer, Slikour. Now, the book really talks about the energy and talks about like how music has been a consistent energy that has allowed me to grow different things. And I'm going to show you some of the things that music has allowed me to do. Music has allowed me to... Yeah. Music has literally allowed me to build a media platform like called SlikourOnLife.co.za, which has over 20 million people that have visited the site since its inception, right? The reason why I started this platform is because 10 years ago, before there was the obsession of social media platforms, artist stories in South Africa weren't being told, right? So I realized that we'll know everything about Jay-Z, Rihanna, but we don't know anything about our own artists. Our own artists, the only thing we get from them are the songs that are played on radio for 3 minutes, and then they might get a little radio interview, which could be like 10 minutes. But if you don't really know the substance of the artist that you're listening to, then all you're doing, you're just dancing to the music, right? So I think what like conversation does, it gives depth. And when conversation gives depth, when you start hearing a song, you start going, yeah, that's what he's going through. This is what I'm going through. I really felt there was a gap in the music industry 10 years ago in South Africa that artist stories weren't told. But look at it today. Today, we were literally pioneering what's happening. You've got like podcast, whether you talk about global podcasts like Drink Champs, but you got podcasts every now where people are talking for hours with musicians, celebrities, entertainers. And this wasn't around 10 years ago, to be quite frank with you. So we started this thing with Slikour On Life because of that, right? Our platforms, literally, our social media platforms reach like 11.7 million people every 28 days. These are the platforms that we use to kind of tell our stories that are connected to our website. And we've used this leverage to start partnering with brands. So, Stimroll Flow Lab, this is a concept that was actually presented to us, and its success with regards to it reaching the right music audience was simply because of our insight and understanding. Now, I want to be clear. I'm moving and showing you guys what we're doing for brands. I never said that I'm a marketer. I said it's music. Right? My insight and passion and understanding on how to leverage music has allowed us to actually be integral in brands with regards to their strategy. But when you're a writer and you're a composer, a song is not a song. It means that you're an ideas person, right? You might be able to just channel these ideas through a song, or you might be able to channel the ideas in multiple ways. One thing I always say with writers, with creators, is that be careful of limiting yourself in one medium, because what creativity says that I could do anything. If you could tell me a song and a story, you could probably tell somebody like an idea of a movie, right? So with that kind of thinking, we started thinking out the box. We started doing and I want to go back to the fact that the only thing that's given me the confidence to do this is because I've written songs that have, in South Africa, literally that have sold gold or platinum, and we changed the whole music industry in South Africa. But let alone, we've collaborated with multiple people across Africa. I mean, some of them are old as me or older than me, but we've done multiple things with guys that have been performing. But this is a show that we're doing that's on Mzansi Magic right now. Also, it's we're on a season 4. We're doing it with the brand. The brand is called Stella Tour. People don't even know that this is what we're doing, right? But this is the things that we're doing because we are confident enough that our creativity can take us to this level, right? So, yeah, it's just some of the guests that we've had on the show, but we are on season 4 of this show. In fact, season 4 is coming in the beginning of festive. So it's a festive show that we create, right? And then we also create online shows. We've got this is something that we've created with Hennessy. It was really the conversation of Hip Hop 50 that featured Stogie T, Aries, Nomuzi, and Uncle Party Time. But this is stuff, so we're still going to create content for brands. So what's very important as a musician is that if you are documenting the stories of culture, then there's no brand that can speak to your people, and especially if your stories are being received well, if people actually can relate to what you're saying. How can a global brand or any brand tell you about your people and how to speak to your people? You see, I'm trying to move you guys from the idea that music is just music and trying to show you that there are things that are theory. Go understand how royalties are collected. Go understand how collection societies work, because that's just the beginning of the world of creativity. Everything is because of writing, right? Everything is because of composition. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is that don't limit yourself to the education that you only get about music. See yourself as a whole creative. Don't be lazy to learn the theory about music, because even when you start getting into production and you start working with brands, there's theory there also, So if you're not working on the theory that of the stuff that you care about, what more the stuff that you branch out and you do, right? So obviously, how can I say it? So I get out of music, right? So I said, for those that missed it, I literally started making music in 2003. Professionally, that's when we literally got success. But I was making it even in the 90s. But I think we got our first award in 2003 and got recognized by the South African music industry at that point. I obviously got into the music industry. I stopped making music around 2010 because I kept on having these creative ideas of that brands need to work with. In 2006, we were the first guys as an independent like recording company, not linked to a major, meaning like a Universal or a Sony. We went directly to Coca-Cola and we said, we've got ideas for your campaigns. And Coca-Cola came back to us and said, no, we don't do ideas. I said, I never knew anything about marketing, as a side note. As much as I never knew anything about royalty collection, I learned music inside the music industry. I learned the theory inside the music industry. I learned my marketing insight inside Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola said we don't do ideas, we do campaigns. I said, what is a campaign? And I mean, I was a little bit confused, but then they liked one of my ideas. So they wanted to link my idea to the bigger campaign, which was called the Sprite Hip Hoop Tour. So they wanted to have basketball and music, and we were doing music. So they said, just do your music idea, but come to all the meetings that we have so you understand what the bigger picture is. So inside these meetings in Coca-Cola, I started hearing words like consumer, target market, and you know, those are, what's a consumer what is a target market? Above the line, below the line. So I'm hearing all these words and I don't know what the hell they're talking about. All I know, I'm coming with the musicians, right? And I've got a plan for the musicians. So I'm listening to all this conversation, but then as I go to the second, third meeting, I start going, oh, consumer is everybody. Target market is the one that they want to get, but consumers everybody. Okay, I get it. Above the line is billboard, outdoor television. Below the line is on the ground when they do activations. Oh, this is how I'm learning my marketing, as a side note, right? So we eventually run this campaign, and there's another thing I don't even know about that I'm about to learn, which is called PR, right? So when we're doing this marketing campaign, and by the way, my parents couldn't help me finish like my whole tertiary education, so I had to figure out my life out. So some of these things were new to me. They might be obvious to some people, but they weren't obvious to me. So now what we do, we go to different cities across the country. I mean, these stories are also in my book. We go to different stories across the country, and I call radio stations and I say, hey, I'm coming with, with book like the late, my friend Double HP, I'm coming with Double HP to this city for the Sprite Hip Hop Tour. So I call the radio station, and the radio station goes, okay, yeah, you guys can come because those guys don't normally come there, right? So I'm calling in all these radio stations, say I'm coming with these artists. These are the radio stations we normally call when we've got new music to go sample. So now I'm calling them not for music. I'm saying, no, I'm coming with my other friends, And the radio stations are excited because, look, they got these guests who are from Johannesburg. And if you know Johannesburg, if I go to KZN, like Durban, it's like 500 kilometers from Johannesburg. If I go to Cape Town, it's like 1,000 kilometers from Johannesburg. So that means that like these artists just don't go there all the time, right? So the radio stations are excited to have them. They say, okay, bring them through. But when you bring them through, we're not going to mention, because Sprite was the brand, we're not going to mention Sprite, because we're going to get fired. But you guys can mention it like incidentally, right? So all my guys, they go to the stations, they do the interviews, they say, yeah, we're here for Sprite, blah, blah, blah. And what's happening while they're saying this, the monitor is ticking to say that Sprite was mentioned, or this campaign was mentioned on radio so many times. So by the time the campaign is over, the brand manager calls me, who's still a very good friend of mine, and she goes, geez, this campaign really did well. The PR was like close to 12.7 million or whatever. We saw the brand grow by this. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but she's happy, right? She's like, this is the PR, this is the PR, the incidental PR that you guys gave us, So then I learned about PR, that all the time we've been sending our friends to radio stations, that's actually PR. Okay, what a thing. So my journey in my life is things that I'm not taught, but things that I feel. It's my gut feel. When I started SlikourOnLife On Life 10 years ago, I never knew that the podcasting world would grow so much. I never knew that like covering, because remember there was no space that covered just youth con. It was either television and it was what television covered. So 10 years ago when I started Slikour On Life, I never knew that that what's happening on social media, that right now you can go on anyone's social media and depending on the stuff that you look at, your algorithm will show you everybody that's covering parties with their phones, right? Artists like Ricky Rick, Casper Nyovest, I used to go with my mic when they were up and coming artists and go interview them and literally cover them and post that. I was doing everything that social media was doing 10 years ago. Just like 20 years ago when we were rapping, nobody was rapping in South Africa in the mainstream like we were doing. When we got into the marketing space with Coca-Cola and I told my friend, you know how I told my partner at the time how we should get into brands? I never said it was marketing. I said to him, my friend's name is Lebu. I go, Ish, Lebu. You know, these people that these brands are trying to get, they're the people that always come to our shows. You know, I think we can tell them that we can transfer these people. I literally said it like that, right? Because all I was just saying is that Sprite's target market is our target market, even in one sentence. But for me, because, you know, I'm also decoding it in the way of a guy who's just understanding it as he goes. I'm like, these people are the same people that those people want, and they come to us, not to them. How about we do something and show them that we can bring these people to them? And then I think we can make something. You know what my friend said at the time? Because it was just so ahead of its time. He said, Sleek, let's just go make songs, man. What are you talking about? Let's just go make songs, you know? And my friend today, that same guy, he's running his own agency now, and he's doing a lot of events because I don't do events. But what changed his mind is, you know, at the time when we do shows, we'd probably make like, I mean, I'll put it in dollars, we'd probably make like say $2,000-$3,000, you know, a show, whatever the case be, and it will come once, you know. But this one job that we made, that we did with Sprite, literally easily got us like a $50,000 check randomly. My friend was like, hey, there's money here. I think this is what we're going to do. I never even knew that this was called marketing. I never even knew this is the revenue. Why do I give this context? It's because of the next thing I'm about to show you guys. This is my, and if I might say it correctly, I said in 2003, that's when the South African music industry recognized this. We've got an award that we won. If you go to Slikour On Life and you go under the caption SlikourOnLife.co.za, there's a 2013. 2013. It's a 10-year cycle, right? In 2013, that's when Slikour On Life was born. Actually, Slikour On Life was born in December. It was the day that Beyonce must have also released her album. It was that double album where she had, like with the movies. Yeah, it was that. It was in December. I think it's that one, you know? Or it was the one that had the bunch of videos. Yeah, it had the one that had the videos. But it's 2013, that's when Slikour On Life was born in December. You know, and the reason why these things are born is because I've got this gut feel that I sometimes get to a point in my life, maybe around 2000, all the 2001s, or maybe it was 2001, 2011. And by the way, if I want to really go far, in 1993, my parents moved us from the hood we lived in into another hood where literally my music thing would really start growing, my interest for music. So I've got these 10-year cycles. My gut keeps telling me that there's more, right? So I was really frustrated, besides the COVID thing, 2 years ago. I just felt like I'm so tired of what I do online, SlikourOnLife.co.za. It's just so boring, and now everybody's doing podcasts. It's just not special, and I felt that there's a gap, you know. And I was obviously like out of music. If you ask me to do a song, to perform, I'm out of music. I'm out. COVID literally hits us. We have to get rid of our offices also. So when we start picking ourselves up, I tell myself I don't want to build an office that has tables and chairs. I just want to go back to what I really love, which is music. I don't want to run away from the fact that music is a big factor in my life. So when I get back in COVID, instead of getting into an office with chairs, I start building a studio. I start building post-production screens, for like videos and edits and everything else. So I'm now not going through the corporate office guy because I'm trying to be like every other agency, the serious guys with tables, but they're always wearing sneakers, but they're serious. But for me, even they are serious, even though they're like not serious, but they're serious. So I need to go on my level of what do I want to do? That's why today I want to have the freedom to come the way I want to dress. This is my life. This is music. I'm inspired by the movement of music, right? So I start building the studios. I say, Siya, don't put your money in discs. Don't put your money in like those computers. Put your money in things that are going to allow you to create. So we build a studio. I mean, this is just part of what you see there on that screen. And so we start doing music distribution. Because all these artists that are uploading music on Slikour On Life, they don't really monetize the music. Remember, I haven't been working in the music space. I've just been working as a creative marketer on SlikourOnLife.co.za and also as a media owner. So we start distributing music. Then the last time I worked on music, we were selling CDs, right? That means that like if we knew that a CD was 100 Rand, which is like maybe $10 at the time, we knew that we were getting either 80% if we're independent, so we knew we were getting money. So this new streaming thing, hey man, guys, we had million streams. I'm like, how much? How much though? How much though? They're like, 10 cents. I'm like, what? So I'm like, okay, this new world is interesting, and we start getting our first paychecks from the artists that we're distributing. I start seeing a problem. The artists that we're distributing, we pay them into their accounts and they get hit by bank charges. So I go, what is the problem with the music industry? The music industry, the reason why we all fall off or make mistakes in the music industry is that your point of departure in the music industry is going to be a song, it's going to be on stage, and it's going to be a good time. It's never going to be the business. So we need to build a system that starts you with business. So anyway, I start this business called SOL Distro. We know the generic thing of business. You've got the music. We literally are able to distribute your music, neighboring rights, licensing, right? And then the composition, publishing, collection, sync, and you get royalties, and boom, right? There's nothing there that you guys shouldn't know. Or else there's nothing there that you guys, if you've been sitting here paying attention on all the days, there's nothing there. What happened to my screen? There's nothing there at this point. When you're ready. Okay, but I like literally looking at the screen and talking because, I've got a tendency to waffle. I'm the real Uncle Waffles. Okay, are we going in? The homie going in. Pardon? I'm Malum Waffles. I'll be waffling, taking it to another level. I'll be talking about something else. You'll be like, how did we get there? So let me manage myself with the screen. Okay, but the point is that like all these things you guys know, and one thing I realized when I get into the music, when I start doing the music thing is that the artists know that there's not a lot of money to collect. So artists don't generally collect their money. So here we are in our balance, we're sitting with hundreds of thousands that belongs to artists, and we're super new also, and the guys are not collecting their music. We want to pay the guys, of course, So I start asking, I have a meeting with everyone we're distributing, and I go, well, how do we essentially, if this money is sitting here, what would other people do if the money was sitting there? Other people would literally go, how are we investing it? So I start calling like equity companies, risk management companies, and I go, I'm sitting on X amount that belongs to artists. Is there a way to actually like start helping these guys to start investing in more through their music, right? So I start having this dream of, imagine you are like singing and you're dancing and you're making songs, and by default, you've got shares in a corporate company because of the royalties you're not collecting. Imagine if like you are a group of guys, like, you know, some people need money to buy those shares. You just need your heart, you know? And I said, yo, that is incredible. You know, the power of music is so incredible, right? All you need to do is just make a song, and the systems they've built. Now I'm not complaining about how little the payments are from DSPs, because now we know how to flip it, right? Because if all of us get together and we've got a couple of 100,000 through the distribution business, all of a sudden now we can invest in Coca-Cola, right? All of a sudden we can invest in Woolworths, right? Because now we are collective, just like they do it with the unions when they've got like builders unions or employee unions. Creatives now can take these songs that they keep on dropping on these streaming platforms to actually buy global or local platforms, and we could be a group of owners. Man, I was going to swear. See, the rap comes out sometimes. But the truth of the matter, this is the power of music, though. It's just that we need to think of it out the box, right? We need to think of it out the box, right? So what do I do then? You know, I figured that I need to build a music system. How do I build this music system? I'd like to also, at least like now we're allowed to answer, to announce. This is very important. When you guys see this, whenever you see it, wherever you see it, I don't want you guys to think that it's what they say it is. It's actually a platform that was inspired by music. This platform I'm about to show you guys has been selected out of 1,200 fintech companies in Africa by Visa to be in the Visa Accelerator program. And I think they've chosen 22 African fintech platforms, and this platform is one of them. So let me show you what it does, right? It's called On Life. Firstly, if we're going to build a system, we need to start building the center of why every other platform comes in our world, in Africa. They come for money, you know. They come because you're a low-hanging market. This thing is not in your market. And you know what? It's a good idea. Let's expand to Africa. But they're not expanding because you are black for it. They're expanding to Africa because you are a revenue that's untapped. So if I'm trying to build a streaming platform, I'm competing with them because they're already running there. But if I'm trying to build a platform that literally is a financial platform for us and our consumers, all of a sudden we're able to build our value. Now, as much as I told you that from the royalties we are now able to buy into companies, what's going to happen here is that from the revenue that artists make in royalties, distribution, selling tickets to their followers, or selling anything, the money they make here, we're going to start building artists' financial profiles. You go to any bank, why aren't they touching us? Because you're risky. But if I can show you my worth, literally from one platform, it changes the conversation. And I'm not saying this because it's me. I've gone to the banks and I've shown them this. And they said, if you could figure this out, we could start even considering how we bring in the creator world into the borrowing facility world. So let me show you this platform. I hope it can play.
Welcome to the On Life platform. It's your first time here, so let's take you to our landing page where you'll get the option to sign up. We are a web app, so you'll be asked to download us on your mobile home screen. You'll then need to sign up, and once that's done, the dashboard takes you to our universe. Get into our menu and create your profile. If you have a business, you can add an event, product, and even use the platform as a point of sale tool. Each product will have a link that you can share on social media to drive sales, or a QR code that can be scanned when another OnLive user purchases from you. You might ask, how does one top up and make withdrawals? Good question. Click on the menu, go to My Cards, and you'll be able to add your existing bank card, add a bank account for withdrawals, and request an OnLive Visa virtual or physical card. You'll then be able to make payments to online businesses or merchants, such as buying tickets to the events. You can even send money from one OnLife user to another via an SMS, QR code, or our free-to-use chat feature. One of the things we're really proud of is our Creators Loan. This is for creative businesses that have proof of work, i.e. a PO and an invoice using our card to receive payments. OnLife will be able to advance for jobs that require upfront payment where there are extensive payment terms. Similarly, influencers and artists that are able to provide these documents will be able to qualify for a loan. So sign up to the first fintech platform for the creator economy. Creation is real life, and beyond life.
And that's it. So why don't we build our own financial platform for creators that literally allows you to build your own, you are not a side, you're not like a cool thing on the platform. You are actually the platform. You are actually the user of the platform. Now, when you start building your distribution business, you start getting your royalties, you start doing your work that you do with brands, all of a sudden you've got an ecosystem because now we've created a system for payments. Everything else is just, oh, it's a show. But where does it go? You know, oh, you got streaming royalties, but where does it go? So now you've got a system where everything from a financial perspective moves into one place, right? As I said, you've got that, and all of a sudden you've got this passive income that you make from your streaming platforms. You've got the revenue you make from performing, and you can literally buy into your equities or do direct investments. And just like that, you know, we're going to be integrating the creative economy into the global economy. I mean, you're asking yourself today, how in the world could you be a partner in a bit? You don't need to be like Diddy now, you know what I mean, and own Ciroc or fight with Ciroc tomorrow, whatever your situation is. All you need to do is do what you do and be in a place that literally allows you to not only make like revenue just off your music, but be in a place that allows you to tie into the global economy. Because you know what's the funny thing about a song? I could be in a restaurant anywhere in the world and I could hear a song that I know was made in South Africa or was made in Africa, anywhere in the world. But the guy who made the song also doesn't know. But the opportunity with this is that, like, if that song is making money and there's money being collected, all of a sudden it's centered in one place. So right now, with our system, you might not know where your song is being played. But like, if they're going to pay you, you're going to know that the music is being paid for in one system. And who else needs to know that? It's the people that need to back you up. It's the banks that need to back you up. It's the people that literally need to believe in your project. You're going to a company or you're to a label and you're asking for an advance based on what? Based on what? You know? Based on, no, I have 2 shows, I've got 1 million streams, I've got this. Now you go, hey, I need my advance because this is how much I'm worth on my platform. Now they're signing this value. And that's the problem with the music industry. We talk about everything in isolation, but everything is tied to one thing, which is the money. And everybody sends the money to different places, but everything ties down to one thing, you know? So immediately when we collect everything and put it in one place, that's when we start building a system, not just for music, but for Africa. And let me be honest with you, this system is not a system that I've seen anywhere in the world, right? And what's more interesting with what we have, because we've built our business of music, we also now able to kind of like engage. I mean, currently we actually shooting a TV show that we're starting to shoot like from tomorrow. I literally need to fly out, but I committed to be here today just to talk about this. But beyond just music, once again, I want to close with the fact that we have to go back to business and say, we are the custodians of culture. We are the guys that actually make people do this while they're talking about something else. We are the people that people are going through things and they just go, oh man, if I could just, I want to go out. Yes, you want to go drink. Okay, these are those guys. But then we the guys that they go out for. So with that being said, if we don't take ownership of this equity, brands are always going to speak on our behalf. This is an idea we came out, it was called Virals. We literally shooting this show when I get back to South Africa. We're shooting this show from Monday. But once again, using music and my confidence and my conviction and my belief that it's people who are like me that are moving the culture, I'm able to speak to a brand, and also I need to be able to position it in the way that they like. This is the power of music. This show is obviously going to be broadcast in South Africa. MTN came to us, they had another, well, we pitched it to them, but they've literally used this whole idea as the youth strategy for communication in this quarter. And they're interested in growing it into a season 2, season 3, season 4. We could easily create a format that's sellable anyway. Not because I'm a TV producer, I'm Steve Cowell or whatever his name is. It's because I just love music. And it allows me to think out the box. It allows me to push the envelope. It allows me to stand in a room and say, this is the power of our culture. You know, don't be too dependent on stats that you get from other platforms. Just look at the faces of the people when you make the music, because you know the platforms will give you the data, but you are the voice, you are the heart, you know. And if you can understand that, you'll be able to translate it in anywhere else. So learn the theory for the basics. Everything that they've taught you today, learn the theory, because there's a bigger world. Music is and creativity literally is what makes the world. Somebody drew this, and they called it architecture, but they drew it. You know? Creativity is what makes the world. And you know what's the good thing about it as black people? Damn, we hella creative. We go through a lot of shit, but they literally like make us forget how creative we are and how our creativity can make a difference in the world. So that's really going to be my closing today. We're going to build a bank now because of creativity. That's all I'm saying. It's got nothing to do with the bank. It's got everything to do with the music. It's got everything to do with the custodian of culture and thinking about it and saying this is what we need and we can build it for ourselves. All right, any more questions and I'm out. I got you. I was like, yeah. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and ask. That's me. My name is Siya Metane, straight out of South Africa, but straight out of Africa if you want. And I'm in the house for a sec, or 2, or 3, or 4. If anybody got a question, please feel free to ask.
Thank you. Hello? Oh. Hi, Siya.
What's up?
Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Absolutely loved it. My question is on Life. Maybe when is going to be the first pilot for it, if you can say?
Yeah, we already. It's already live. It's a web app, so it's called. You could already download it. I think with regards to the features that are going to allow people to start creating their own events, that feature will be ready like in a week or 2. But already you're able to receive money. I just think that right now it's going to be very like South African orientated. Yeah. But like if anyone else kind of uses it in any place, you're able to send money to each other here. So yeah, so we're ready to go.
Thank you.
I think the smart thing that I should have done as a marketer, I should have probably had the URL for the platform. Yeah, but if you can go to SlikourOnLife.co.za and you go to the menu, it's there, SlikourOnLife. I'll spell it SlikourOnLife.co.za. If you go to our menu, you'll be able to see we've got the SOL Distro tab, the distribution business, and we've also got like the On Life platform, which is the platform I've just shared with you guys. Let's build our own thing, y'all. That's all I'm saying. Do I feel like I'm selling or I'm promoting? I don't know what I'm doing, but it's my truth.
Hi, Siya.
What's up?
I came in a bit late, but I caught the tail end of this. My name is Mike. I'm from Uganda. Just follow up to your answer to his question. When do you intend to, expand so that it's more compatible to other regions of Africa, since it's going to be predominantly South African based at the moment?
Do me a favor, Mike. And so what you say your names again? Lorian. Where are you from? And you're from Uganda?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor, right? I'm going to get your contacts. I'm going to send you guys the link. Let's just test the system in other places, and you guys can give me feedback, and let's take it there.
Nice.
I'd love that.
Thank you.
I'd love that help, you know? For us by us, why not? If I can,
There's a question right here.
where there?
Right,
Oh,
no,
what's up?
go
Sorry,
ahead.
sorry, sorry.
Hey, Mambo, my name is Adam. Among other things, I'm an economist and also creative. And my question to you specifically is on the business knowledge of the artists.
I can't hear you. Can you just raise your
My
voice?
question is regarding the business education to the artists. What is are you doing anything specifically on that? Because I came to the creative while with the economics business background, so I've seen it slightly easier for me, but some of the conversation with the artists or the creatives, there's sometimes so difficult because of that background. You mentioned about the consumer, the revenue, all of this. Some of them is like, it's so out of like blue or out of this world. So what are you doing on building the bridges and also investing in the education, the business education?
So by default, I realized that, if I'm going to help artists, it's like distribution. If anybody will tell you, when you're starting that business, it's not a business that makes money, right? Because of the little money in it. But the only way you will be able to help guys is if they actually within your system. So right now, as an example, there's an artist that we're currently distributing. His name is Touchline. He's doing pretty well, like as a hip-hop artist. But he came to me 2 or 3 years ago, before I started my distribution. He was complaining about like his previous label and things that were happening. And this happens, by the way, in South Africa for me. I've literally given advice to and I'm naming names because I've given advice to Ricky, to Casper, I've given advice to almost everybody. I've even argued with them about things because that's just what it is, because I'm from the old guard, right? So I keep giving these guys advice, and I said, you give them the advice, they hear you, then they go. What if you created a system? So start distribution. So you give them the advice within your system, and you manage them. So Touchline, when we met him, literally he had just featured KO on a big song. But the song never performed, but it's how he rolled it out. So I told him, this is how you gotta roll it out. And that's when we started doing his distribution. Today, the song he rolled out was like a hardcore hip-hop song, 2 minutes of rapping. In a month, that song literally did more numbers and doubled the numbers that he did when he featured KO. And KO is, if you know, he's one of the legends in South African hip-hop, right? And right now, his album that he just dropped last week was on the top 3 hip-hop in South Africa and top 10 all genres, because we literally gave him so we gave him advice and we're able to monitor. But artists also don't want to listen at times, right? You can't force that, you know what I mean? Sometimes, people's karmas, their karma, your knowledge, that they have to hit a wall. I've advised Casper against something before and he never listened, but he was right, you see? Because what he did literally worked for him in the long run. So sometimes you also need to be able to receive. You can give information, but don't force your information, because some guy might believe he's so right on something and it works. Because his manager told me that, he told me a few months ago, said, remember when you told us that? It was a long time ago. And we went back home, we were worried. He said, the OG said that's not a good idea, that's not a good idea. And we were so worried, but it worked, And I said, I don't know everything. I can only tell you what I know from experience, right? But there is someone that has to break the rules. That's part of learning and growing. I'm not only being taught by brands, I'm being taught by the young guys also that are coming in also,
Nice one. I think that's the last question we can take.
Just one for fun.
One more? Okay.
Don't be a mean guy. Please,
Now
man.
the one guy over there, yeah. His hand went up first, so. Okay. Good.
We haven't had a guy with glasses ask a question. So let's just, let's just,
I guess he's on. Oh, he's on. My name is Daz. I'm a music producer in Tanzania. And I've been wondering, all these streaming platform and digital, all this, the whole 80% been talking about artists and music artists a lot of time. They just throw in creative, but I don't get the idea of a music producer or say a beat maker? Where do they come in a platform like this?
I mean, obviously, if we have to talk the technicalities of streaming platforms, by default, you guys get your royalty splits from, they pay you something at, in South Africa it's Capasso, right? So there's already a split for your artist depending on, for the producer, depending on your deal with the artist. I don't know if that's the question you're asking.
I've been looking at Slikour
On Life, yeah.
Everything is just artist-based, artist-based.
Because you know what, artists
Where does
also
the
like
producer
talking,
comes
right?
in
I'll tell, artists like talking. We try to do a show for producers, but producers are like, you can't find them. It's just been rough working with producers.
Maybe I guess it's because of that. We talk too much of artists and then...
But the artists, yeah, producers don't sell themselves.
No?
They don't sell themselves like the artists. Unless you Kanye West. You know, but like that's the thing. A lot of producers love being in the back. We try to do a whole show for producers. We call the recipe, and we had 1 or 2 producers. We had Markwe, we had Prince KB, and then like it was just difficult to be consistent because the producers just they don't love talking like the artists love talking or selling. They just want to be inside there. So we've tried. On our side, we've tried, but the producers are very important. Very, very important.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for the man, Slikour.
Sorry, bro. I try to even put it in and say a guy with glasses.
I saw him
ask
try to
questions,
slide it in,
you know?
but no. Thank you so much.
He wants to be the only guy with glasses out here. You know what I mean? I mean, this guy. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much, man. A round of applause for him one more time. The website, SlikourOnLife.co.za, correct?
Yes, sir. SlikourOnLife.co.za. Go to the menu. You'll find the On Life platform, the fintech platform that we're building, and let's be great.
Awesome. Round of applause one more time. And thank you guys so much.